5, 4, 3, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, grandma, grandpa, auntie, uncle, nephew, we're black.
Dope Dealers Podcast.
You know what it is, man. It's the world's most dangerous podcast, Dope Dealers Podcast. It's your man at Jamal Doman, JamalDoman.
Tobe Hixx at Tobe Hixx, TobeHixx.
And you follow us on Instagram or Twitter at DopeDealersPodcast.com. Well, at Dope Dealers Podcast. That's at Dope Dealers, Dealers with an S. On Instagram or Twitter. We're back, episode 154. Keeping it raw. You know what it is, man. Shout out to everybody listening to our last episode, 153, The Truth About Kevin Samuels. That's actually on on YouTube. Toby, I set up our YouTube channel. So we got a YouTube channel, and the first video is that last one on there, man. So you've been hearing us a lot lately, but actually you can go back and see us. And of course, all our early episodes are on YouTube also. So go to Comedy Pop-Up on YouTube and then type in Dope Dealers and you'll see us, man. What's up, Tobe Hixx?
Word.
It's been a minute, man. We've been off for a minute, and we're going to get into it.
Yeah. Shout out to the troops, man. The Army, the Navy, the Air Force, Marines, the Coast Guard, the National Guard, the Bloods, the Crips, the Essays, the essential workers.
Absolutely.
Essential workers still out there putting their life on the line. I give a shout out to the nurses at the Florence home in Omaha, Nebraska, and at Royal Oaks Assisted Living Facility. Mm-hmm. They are taking care of my mom and my grandma at them places. So give them a big shout out because it's still dangerous out there.
It's a salute to you. I don't think it's funny that was not funny, but that you say that about, because I don't think people take essential workers serious until one of the loved ones are in the hospital and you see them in action. Like, I don't know if you remember, a long time ago, my little brother got in a car accident. I don't know if you remember, this is about 10 years ago. He got hit by a car. You know, he was in the hospital for like a month. So I went home. I was there for the entire month, and I watching the nurses and because he was really, it was up in the air the first couple of days, man. But just watching what they go through, man, and how the work they put in, man, and I've dated some nurses over the years too.
But it's just next level now, with this COVID. I mean, all the stuff they've been through, and then also all the gun violence, the stuff they seeing when these bodies come in there, and they can't even do nothing about it.
Yeah, shout out to them essential workers, man. I remember this nurse, man. I don't know if he was a nurse or what is it called, a CA or something, nurse's assistant, I think. But my brother, when he was in his thing, he lost his bodily function, so he would, and it was a guy that was his job. He came in there and he cleaned up. Yeah, and it was an older dude, and I don't know his name. It's been years. Nothing but, he came in there and did what he had to do. And I remember he had a break outside. I was later on, I was on the phone outside the facility on my phone, and I seen him smoking a cigarette outside, typing on his phone. And it was just so normal to him. He wasn't nothing to it to him. And I was like, I'm thinking they don't pay him enough. Whatever they paying you, they need to double it.
Yeah. It's funny you say that because, one time I went in for an interview and I got the job and I decided at the last minute not to take it. I didn't want to deal with it. But I had applied for a hospital where you clean up the surgery rooms.
Oh, yeah. Shit.
And I went through the whole process and everything and got the job. And then I was like, nah,
you gotta have a strong stomach to do that.
I can't do this.
Yeah,
but it was like that job pays. That's good pay, at the hospital.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure it do. Well, whatever they do.
That's good money. But that's a tough one.
God bless that man, whoever that brother is, and everybody.
Hopefully he got promoted now. Hopefully he ain't still cleaning up shit and piss. At the hospital. Hopefully he got a promotion now.
Man, yeah, man. So we here, man. We've been off for a little while, and we appreciate all listeners still supporting us and just working with us. The pandemic, obviously, the pandemic fucked everything up, but we're back in the studio, so that's a good thing. And, life is happening with us. Life is going on. And so we appreciate you. I know we've been off for a couple weeks, but we about to get into why we've been off for a couple weeks, because life has hit us, and sometimes life comes at you fast, and you have to deal with it.
Yeah, that's definitely the truth, because this situation that and then before I get started, everybody, shout out to to Jamal for holding it down, always putting in work, keeping our names, our faces out there, no matter what the hell I'm going through, no matter what he going through.
Absolutely. So man. We got.
I appreciate that because it's been a hell of a journey lately. We don't call this one the Dear Mama episode.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah, and it's funny we doing this the week of Father's Day.
Yeah. You know what? I didn't even know it was Father's Day on Sunday. Somebody just told me, and somebody was asking me what I was doing. Because it ain't
the same for us. Shit, women know when next Mother's Day is. They know the date already to the one in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Don't nobody give a fuck about us.
Yeah.
You go to the restaurant on Mother's Day, you can't. I mean, it'd be 3-hour wait.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, you can walk right in on Father's Day.
Yeah, they do the fathers wrong.
Ain't no line.
They just give us a $20 gift card from Subway. That's what we get.
Well, I remember a lot of, what kills me is a lot of times on Father's Day, a lot of families make the dad grill.
Yeah.
Like
he got to do all the work.
Yeah, he grilling on Father's Day. My grandpa used to grill on Father's Day.
You remember what's the best Father's Day gift that you received? You remember?
Well, just going out to eat and spending time with the kid.
Okay, yeah.
That's about all,
Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with that.
And they got me some cologne.
Okay, yeah.
Stuff like that.
They get you some socks. I know the socks sell out around this time of the year.
Yeah.
Socks is like the easy thing to get a dad. Just give him some pack of socks.
You ain't even got to know. You ain't even got to have the right size. All you got to say between 6 and 12. You just
But you know what? I'll take a pack of socks.
Yeah.
I would never turn down a pack of socks. So salute. I was looking at some Nike socks on Amazon. The things was like $30, but I had an Amazon gift card, and it would have been free to me, but I still was like, that's a lot to pay for. I was like, I take this $30 for something else.
And stuff, you gotta get them from the outlet.
Yeah.
The socks because they always cheaper at the outlets.
Yeah.
So when you go out there one time and just stock up and. I still got Nike socks. I had them 2 years. I bought so many at the time. Still ain't worn them.
I want to give a shout out to the folks up in Medford, Oregon. I was up there last week.
Chadwick's Pub.
Chadwick's Pub. Man, I had a great time up there, man. Them white folks. That was Trump country. Trump country.
They love Trump.
But they love me. They love me up there. They was talking about go bite. What was that? What's that? Go Brandon. What's that little saying they got?
Let's go Brandon.
Let's go Brandon.
Oh yeah, they was really clowning.
Yeah, but we had a good time, man. I sold a lot of T-shirts, man. Medford,
Oregon. That's one of my favorite places in the country to go to. I've been going there for about 15 years.
Wow, I didn't know that. Man, I didn't know nothing about that room, man. Look,
at least 10 for sure every year.
Yeah,
I love that place.
Nothing but love for Medford, Oregon, man. Nothing but love up there, man.
My man Carl Lee always look out.
Yeah, Carl didn't come when I was there. He had another engagement, so I missed him. But we've been communicating online.
Yeah, he's a good dude, man. Carl Lee, man.
That's a dope room. You ever in Medford, Oregon on a Friday or Saturday, go check out Chadwick's Pub.
Right. And I mean, it's packed every week, and it's been like that for years.
Yeah.
I mean, it ain't, it's an awesome place. Wonderful times there.
Absolutely, man. Well, let's get in it, man. This episode, Dear Mama, man. Tobe, this is you take it from here, man. Tell everybody what's been going on with you, man.
Well, let's see where to start. Well, my mom has been sick for the last few months, and then also dealing with my grandmother who's 101. But grandma's in great condition. Everything's cool with her. But this is just tough situation that she's dealing with. But my mom's situation it's gotten worse over the last couple months, and so I've been having to go back and forth to Omaha, spending time, spending money, missing work, missing missing shows, everything. So it's just been a heck of a ordeal, and then to see my mother. Her decline kind of happened fast because I was there in January and everything was fine. She was okay. I mean, she's always been a little sick and from previous stints with cancer. She's had cancer a couple times. So she's always been a little sick. But, for the most part, she was doing fine. And until just a few months ago, she had to go to the hospital. That's how we first figured it out because she got to a point where she couldn't like put together sentences and everything. And even over with phone conversations, I was like starting to notice that something wasn't right. And she ended up going to the hospital. I mean, like a conversation with her at the beginning might be like if I say, well, hey mom, what'd you have for dinner today? She'll go, well, I went to the place, the place where everybody go. The place where they got the food, and I got something. It was green. Man, it was green. It was good. You know what it is because you like it too. It was green. And like conversations was going like this, and I was like, okay, something's not right. So she had to go to the hospital, and they checked her out, and they was saying that it was cancer in her brain now.
Oh wow.
And so that's what was making her forget her thoughts and things of that nature, and just saying shit that you couldn't even understand. You didn't know, it got to a point we didn't know what she was trying to say in most cases. And it goes in and out. So I was like, damn. So the one good thing about Omaha, Nebraska, shout out to Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett, one of the richest men in the world.
From Omaha, right?
Yeah, he's from Omaha. And what he has done, he donated millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars to the Warren Buffett Cancer Facility. So they have actually some of the best cancer doctors in the country are in Omaha. People come from all over the world to go to these cancer doctors.
Okay.
So that's the good thing, at the start of it, like she was at the, she had the best care possible. So that's a good thing. And like I said, during this time, grandma's living by herself in her apartment because my mother and my grandmother, they used to stay in the same senior complex. But my mother stayed upstairs and my grandmother stayed downstairs.
And that way they looked out for each other. Yeah.
So, so then when my mother got sick, all of a sudden, like I said, she went from everything being, for the most part, normal for her to in the hospital to them telling me, I had to fly to Omaha and them telling me that, she can't never be by herself again. She need 24/7 care. And they wasn't going to let her out the hospital until all of this was taken care of and all these different things. All this shit just happened all at once.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn. And I'm like, what could I, I was trying to think of what I could do.
Now, it's one thing if you there in Omaha, but you live in Los Angeles. So
But the thing about it, though, is that, now I realize that even like the nurse said, even if you lived here, you couldn't do this because this is professional as hell. So I didn't know what I was gonna do with her, whatever, and I mean like what to do. And then I knew, grandma, I knew had to get her out the place because she wasn't gonna be able to maintain without my mom being in the building. So all during this process, I had to move all my mother's stuff out, throw a bunch of stuff away, go through all of that scenario, get her out, and it just happened to be. One of her homegirls, one of my mom's road dogs that she'd been knowing for 50 years, she said, I'm retired, I live by myself, and I got an extra room, your mom can come stay with me. And so I asked Miss Tina like 3 times. I was like, you sure you can do, because this is going to be hard on anybody, like, because of the way her mind was going in and out, and sometimes she might get angry. I mean, it was just all different scenarios. So she's like, no, that's my friend. I can do it, blah, blah, blah. I don't mind doing it. I'll take care of it. And so got everything all together. My mom moved with her, and and also like my mom had a brand new car she just bought, like with only like 3,000 miles on it. So I had to try to put all these scenarios together because she wasn't supposed to be driving no more and all this. So I'm like, damn, okay, what, a lot of shit to try to figure out here. And especially, when it's just me being the only child, ain't like I can, I can ask my sister or brother, like, what y'all think about this? Or what should we do? I ain't got nobody to figure out what to do with. And so, I was just like, just bugging, like didn't know what the fuck to do. So Miss Tina said she could come stay with her. I said, okay, cool. Even though I knew it was gonna be a whole lot, but we gave that a shot, and it got to a point to where Miss Tina couldn't take it no more because my mom, she was just, her mind would just go in and out. She would say hurtful things, and then just, you know, she was taking off in her car, driving and going and do stuff, and so it's just like, damn, all these different things going on. So all of a sudden, I come back to LA, and then as soon as I get back to LA, then Miss Tina had to put her out, and at this time, my grandma was still staying where she stayed in the apartment, so my mom went and stayed there. But my mother went to stay with grandma on like a Monday, and grandma was moving out on Saturday.
Yeah.
Of the same week. So it's just like, you didn't know what was gonna be done or whatever. So what ended up happening is that before my grandmother had to move out, like 3 days before, my mom's mind started going, and it just happened to be, she's a veteran, so it happened to be like a social worker just happened to come over, and my mom's mind wasn't right, so she got her to the hospital, and so then I had to shoot right back out there, and all of a sudden, then that's when I was told that, you know, it's nothing else we could do, and you know, your mom, you know, they never know, but they was like, you know, she got probably 3 to 6 months, you know, and now this has been like 2 months ago.
Okay,
I was told this, so I'm like, damn. So, you know, I kind of come to grips with it because of her history of illness, and you know, the cigarettes, smoking the cigarettes and shit. And what was crazy is that my mother came to me like during this time. She said, I sure wish I would have listened to you, you know, my mom and dad, you know, like me and my grandparents used to always say, like, put them cigarettes down, out of you know, and that type of shit. But she wouldn't, you know, because she had been smoking since she was a teenager.
Yeah.
You know, she got caught up in that era where it was cool to smoke. When they was smoking on TV and shit, and everybody was smoking. And in the break room at work, it was just full of smoke. And
like
she
TV
got caught
show
up in that
Mad
shit.
Men,
And she couldn't give it up. So all of this happening fast. In the meantime, like I said, her mind's not right. So I'm out there for weeks at a time. You know, some nights, you know, shout out to Jabber, my homie Jabber, you know, let me stay at his crib sometime, him and his wife. And then some nights I would get a hotel. So I'm just all over the place. You know, I'm dealing with my mom, my grandma.
How you getting around Omaha?
My mom's car.
Oh, you go, okay.
Yeah, because she still got the car.
Okay, all right, cool.
So that was one good thing.
Yeah.
And see, the first trip I was there, I was able to still stay at my grandmother's because she was at her own place before she moved into the assisted living. Yeah. And so, but now this last trip and from now on, I need places to stay.
Yeah.
All this, you know, deciding on what to do with the car. You know, trying to figure all that type of stuff out, and during the process, my mother has become like extremely mean to me. Like every day I'm visiting her, I'm taking her food, I'm bringing my grandma to see her, I'm doing everything I can. And she's just like, you know, because of the cancer on her brain, she's always, you don't give a damn about me, and just stuff that doesn't even make sense. And, you know, her mind is telling her that I got some scheme to try to get some money. Like, you know, like she got $100 million, like, you know, like she's like, I'm in here $10 million. Like her mind's telling her there's some scheme going on and all this. So it's just like, it's been almost unbearable to deal with. And it's a daily thing. Like each day when I wake up, it's like, I have no idea what's going to happen. And what I mean by that, I just don't know, like, who's going to call, what's going to go, you know, what's going to happen. Like, you know, every day I get a call from a nurse, from a social worker, from somebody at the veterans, that pertain to my mom,
right?
You know, or somebody maybe with my grandma's facility, her occupational therapist, all this. I mean, I get so many, now I'm spending like 2-3 hours a day on a daily basis talking to people about my mother and my grandmother. And I'm just like, wow, you know, this is just, so it's just kind of hard to even plan anything or put, you know, I'm trying to put my life and career back together during all of this,
right?
And it's just been extremely hard. It's just like today, just today. Here's just a normal day of things that happen. So earlier in the day, I was called and said that someone had COVID in the facility where my grandma's at.
Oh Lord!
And I'm just like, okay. So now the COVID's back there, Then I'm on my way here to the studio to do this. Then they call me from the home where my mother's at and tell me that she slipped and fell. She's okay. But, you know, they got to let you know everything that goes down. She fell trying to go to the bathroom. She's okay. But I'm just saying that's just a daily basis and just, you know, the things that are happening. And I'm glad that I'm able to be there for them and everything. I mean, it's a true blessing, but it's just been tough to deal with. And also because of the history of me and my mother. She's a lot of things happened during my childhood, and I was able as a grown man to forgive her, because once I became grown, I knew I had made mistakes in life and situations and relationships, and so I was never one to hold on to the past type of things, but she was never able to let it go. Because I think the guilt that she felt, like with my childhood, you know, a lot of people don't know, like, you know, basically my mother, she was in the Navy when I was born. I was born in Miami, Florida. She was in the Navy. So at 6 months, she gave me to my grandma and grandpa. So I ended up staying with them. Everything was great. I mean, I had a wonderful life, childhood. I mean, one of the best. I never was in need of nothing, and you know, I had a great life. You know, always took vacations with my grandparents. You know, my grandpa worked in the morning, and my grandma worked in the night. So at nighttime, it would just be me and my grandpa every day, and I mean, we had a wonderful life. So I had no complaints. But it was tough when it comes to my mom because I never knew who my father was. She never, you know, she doesn't know who my father was. So I had to grow up with that. And so that's kind of where it all started. Because when I was a young boy, like, I would ask about my father and I would never forget, like, my mom, she would get so mad at me. She would start cussing, and to where I was so scared I wouldn't even mention, like, him. And then sometimes I would start crying, and I would talk to my grandpa about it. And he was like, well, you know, I don't know, son. He's like, don't worry about it. You know, you got me. Don't even worry about it. Right. And that was the only thing that, like, kept me going as a child when it comes to not knowing or whatever. And the other thing that she would do is that, which is kind of ironic because a lot of times men get labeled as the people that do this. But my mother did this to me. She would tell me that she was coming to pick me up, and she would never show up. Wow. She wouldn't call. She wouldn't say shit.
This was she out the military? She back in Omaha?
Yeah, she back in Omaha now. I'm growing up with my grandparents. I'm 5, 6, 7, 8. It started at an early age where she would tell me this, and it happened at least 100 times in my life. Wow. Where I would, and it was so bad. Like I would be sitting there. I'd sit in front of the house, and it would start to get dark. The street lights would come on, and my grandmother would come out, and she would say, "Come on inside, baby. Don't look like she gonna make it tonight." And I was like, damn. I was like, no. I was screaming, crying. I was like, no, she's coming, Grandma. She's still coming. She would never show up, whatever. And I'll never forget, one time my mom came over, and she came in the house, and my grandmother ran towards her and grabbed her by her throat and forced her into the bedroom and slammed the door. And all I can hear my grandmother saying is, "Why you be doing this to this boy? You have him sitting there waiting on you. You don't call. You don't say nothing. He just be waiting on you. Why you keep hurting him like that?" And I never will forget that. And so, like, without the father and then those scenarios. But one thing I can say about my mother too is that she always took care of me, though, because my mother always had a good job, and she always had a new car. Right. And now I realize, like, she always had a bunch of women running with her. Now I realize that now that I'm a grown man and I've seen how women work with women I've dated and see how their friends work and how they use and manipulate. Everybody was just using my mother. She was that person. She was nice. She always had money, always had a good job, always had a new car. I mean, I remember my mother was rolling drop top Volkswagen Bugs before anybody. Wow. I mean, my mama had a drop top Bug in the hood when nobody had one of them joints.
Yeah, I remember them joints.
Yeah, so so she always would, like, she would think, I think she would look like she would spend her money on me, but she wouldn't spend no time.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of ironic, like I said, because a lot of men get accused of that.
Yeah.
Some men don't get accused of just not spending no money or no time, but a lot of men get accused of, well, he might spend some money or send some money, but he ain't got time for the kids.
Yeah.
But it was the exact opposite growing up in my life. And then there was another scenario where we went through a time where we didn't speak for a period of time, maybe a few years or whatever. And I didn't really know why or what the deal was. And this was kind of crazy. Like, she ended up telling me the truth. Like, my mom came to me and she apologized, and she said that the reason why she wasn't talking to me is because her ex-husband was telling her not to. I mean, the man, that she was with, she was still married to him at the time, but my stepfather was saying this not to. But if I talked to him, he would act like everything is cool. He never said no type of shit. But all in the meantime, he's doing for his kids and his grandkids, but he didn't want her to do for her kids and her grandkids.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she admitted that she was listening to him. And I was just like, wow, okay. So it's been a lot of different scenarios, but even with all of that, I never held it against her. I never, I let all of that go. I mean, because I knew it, like I said, I haven't been perfect in certain situations either. And then also, like I said, I mean, I wasn't going to be one to harbor that. I had a homeboy of mine. He's in his 40s. And he was still talking about shit that his father did when he was like 10. And I know his father. His father's a good dude, but his father made some mistakes when he was young. But I'm like, man, that shit's over now.
Yeah, some people,
It's 30 years. You're talking about shit 30 years ago. Your father right here, he's a good man. Just have a relationship with him. What you keep talking about that old ass shit for?
Some people can't get over it. Some people just carry that on,
And so, I was glad that I never was that person, I always I was always able to let it go and forgive her. And I was never mad. I was still, I still wanted her always in my life. So so when all of this stuff happened, I ain't thinking nothing of it. I mean, because the good thing is that over the last 5 to 7, I mean, we've had a good relationship, let's just say for a solid relationship for the last 5 to 7 years, where for the most part everything's been cool and no problems, always communicating and everything's been fine. So I'm grateful for that. But it's like, and this cancer is that watching it work and like, cause I've known people who've had parents might have had dementia or Alzheimer's, whatever, and they tell stories. Like, I've had somebody tell me that they walked in, like a woman told me she walked in to see her father, and he's like, who's this bitch? This mind that gone. But, and this, what I'm going through is similar to that. The only difference is that, though, when she hear her father say, who's this bitch, she's not going to feel no type, she going to feel sad that his mind is gone there, but she knows that ain't him, so it ain't no anger or nothing.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff, like my mother's been saying, it's hard to decipher. It's like, okay, is this the disease or is she really feeling like this at the moment?
Yeah.
And so it's been kind of crazy dealing with that sense of it. But now, I've gotten used to it, and it's like, okay, I just let her, whatever she say, she gonna say, it don't hurt me, it don't bother me. But it's just been a hell of an ordeal. And then the last few weeks, she's been trying to break out of the place and, all the, like, she's on the 3rd floor of the building where she's at. Like 2 weeks ago, they found her on the 2nd floor, and now they had to put a ankle monitor on her leg, and she's trying to come up with all type of schemes and stuff to get out of there. And
so she can't, the place that she at, I guess she can't leave on her own, right?
No, she can leave. Like, say for instance, like when I was there, I said, hey, you offer to take her out. I could take her out somewhere.
But she can't go by herself.
No, she can't go nowhere by herself.
Because her brain,
and then now it's to the point where, like, if somebody comes to pick her up, then they'll call me and ask me, but she can't, she doesn't have the strength to, but in her mind, she thinks she can go somewhere. It was so funny. It's like, her mind is going, but this shit fucked me up though. Like, she didn't say shit. Like, I was there and I would say, hey, you want to go somewhere? Want me to take you to see grandma? Instead of grandma ever coming every day, I bring her to you. Want to go over there? Want to go get some food? Want to go to the park? no, I don't want to go nowhere. I don't feel good. I'll just stay. I don't want to go nowhere. The moment her payday hit and she knew her money was in the bank, that's when she wanted to go somewhere. She's like, shit, I want to go somewhere, this and that. And she started tripping out. And that was another thing, like right before cause she's in hospice now, everyone. And so right before she went there, she was doing just irrational shit with money. Like she went out and bought a Dooney and Burke wallet. She went and got the windows tinted on her car.
That's why you told me.
Yeah, like I mean, when I say tinted, I mean like limousine tint, jet black. They was so black that when I was in home driving the car, I had to let the windows down.
Wow.
Because I didn't want to get pulled over because they jet black. I don't even know who tinted her shit. That like whoever did that, I couldn't find the paperwork or nothing. Like, cause I was gonna call them motherfuckers and cuss them out. Like, how you tint a 75-year-old woman's windows this dark? Like, what the fuck you do that for?
Right. Yeah.
So, she bought like some $300 shades, and I mean just all types of shit that they didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So, and she's always been a private person. So here's the other dilemma. It's like her mind fades in and out, and now I have to be a detective to figure out her personal, any business or whatever. You know, I've been trying to figure out all types of things. Like the good things, I mean, I know she's a veteran, so they have services that they provide and all this different things.
Yeah.
But I found out that she canceled her insurance and just all this just shit all of a sudden just falling apart. And it's like, okay, and then she would do shit like just call out the blue. Like she might call 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning and just hang up. I mean, it's just all types of just wild shit. Like it's very hard to get a peace of mind on a daily basis because you just don't know what to expect.
Right, yeah.
And you know, I'm not complaining. I'd rather feel this than for her and to be gone. And then because it's like this, like I said, I've come to the conclusion. I'm straight with everything because, like I said, I know. I've been knowing for a while that this can happen, but the toughest part too is watching my grandmother go through this. Yeah. At her age, at 101, she about to be 102, and like 6 weeks ago when I took her to the doctor said she's in great shape. She might live another 10 years, as long as the COVID just don't spread through the home again. But she got her shots and everything, so hopefully she'll be all right. They gave her a COVID test today. She was hot, you know, because she had never had a test before. That was the only good thing when she stayed outside of a nursing home. I mean, outside of a facility, that was cool because that's when COVID was at its highest, and she didn't have to worry about it. So she never had a test or nothing. Oh yeah, she was heated. So, but so dealing with all of these different scenarios, and then you know, having to deal with on a daily basis, then sometimes, you know, your mind start playing tricks on you and you start thinking about your childhood and all this. And I was just like, damn, you know, this is fucked up to say, but this is the truth. It's like, when my mom passes, it's like, I'm not going to have a bunch of good memories. I mean, not that, you know, I'm just saying, like, I don't have any childhood memories for the most part, you know. You know, probably the best times we used to have is when my mother was still working. Her job, she worked at Union Pacific, would bring her to California and we see each other and out the blue, and those times were cool, but like, I don't have any good memories. And like I said, I'm not saying that like everything is all bad, but it's like I don't have one standout memory. Like, yeah, I remember the time we went to Vegas, or the time we did this, or the time we, you know. I do remember some funny times. One time my mom, I'll never forget this. This is even before I moved to LA. I was living in San Diego. And this was so long ago. This is when the Raiders, they was playing the game. And so me and my homeboys, we drove my mom's in the car, and 3 of my homeboys, and we driving up here to go to the football games. My mother's a big football fan. And my mother, like me, she be having to pee all the time. Like, you know, my mother be having to pee all the time, like where she would take a roll of toilet paper in her purse.
Wow.
So we riding up here, and she had to pee, and it's traffic, and it really nowhere to stop. And finally, I'm driving, and finally she's like, you know, I was like, okay, next spot, I'm gonna pull over and go to the restroom. She couldn't hold it no more. She's like, pull this motherfucking car over now. My mom got out on the side of the freeway on the way to LA, peed, and got back in the car and sat down like it wasn't shit. Had her hand sanitizer, had everything. Man, my boy, hey, they was crying. They never forgot that shit. Wow. So that was that was a wild time. Mm-hmm. But
what was her relationship with your kids?
Now that's another thing. Mm-hmm. With my son, because he's the oldest, mm-hmm. she's had a better relationship with him, mm-hmm. And especially recently, because recently he started reaching out to her because after I just kept telling like, yo man, you need to check on your grandma and your great grandma. You need to check on them. So after me saying it for a good period of time, he finally starts to do it. So he's been communicating with her and his great grandma for like a year. But when it comes to my daughters, they haven't had a great relationship with her mm-hmm. because they got caught up in some of the periods of when she wasn't even talking to me.
Right.
And in those scenarios. And I know it's bothered her. And it's bothered me too, and I know it bothers her. And before she got before it got as bad as it is as of today, like, me and a couple family members, we was talking to her, like telling her, like, reach out. All you gotta do is call, and But I think the guilt had her so bad that she didn't reach out to him like before her mind mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. has basically for the most part left her. Right. I mean, she's going through scenarios of paranoia and just all types of things, and I didn't want to look at the stuff or whatever, or research it or whatever, but one of my relatives did, and she basically told me what it said. And then I looked at some of the paperwork or whatever, but she was telling me that these things are going to happen from what she read, and the things that she said are the things that are happening.
This is your mother or the?
No, my relative.
Oh, your relative.
She read up on.
Oh, yeah, because that's
she read up on the brain cancer and how it affects you. And
that's one of my questions was, did they prepare you like what's going to happen? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and it talks about the mood swings and all these different scenarios, and like some days my mom said she want to kill herself and all these different things, which is tough, because she never was suicidal or anything mm-hmm. ever before.
How old is your mother again?
She's 75.
So
yeah. But she spoke of killing herself a few times. I mean, but the good thing, as good as it could be in such a tough situation, is that she's not in any physical pain.
That's the key, yeah.
So, she's not in any physical pain. So now, like I said, just trying to piece everything together, mm-hmm. be there for him as much as possible, mm-hmm. and handle everything, put my life back together. Because, this is one time is like, I kind of, you go through different emotions. I kind of wish I was in a relationship, but I don't know. But in one sense, I'm kind of glad I'm single because then I can just deal with this and mm-hmm. don't have to put nobody else through this. Because if I was in a relationship, then they would be feeling the same pain I'm feeling. It's just like, it's kind of best that I am single, just dealing with this on my own. But it's been a hell of an ordeal.
And how's I know Grandma's taking it real hard. I know that, and I know. How's any update on how she's doing, like just dealing with this, your grandma?
Well, I get an update like today. See, one good thing is that my grandmother and they have a lot of people in town that do stuff, look out for them, mm-hmm. whatever. Like my mom's homegirl, Tina, who let her come stay with her. Now she goes over, she picks my grandma up, takes mm-hmm. her to visit my mom, and helps out. But grandma's I've noticed she's been depressed lately. Mm-hmm. She hasn't been in her normal state of mind, mm-hmm. and it's because of the situation. Some days
she understands what's going on. She knows.
Yeah. Sometimes, but she goes in and out too. And what I mean by that is like sometimes she'll go to visit my mom and she'll hear some of the things my mom is saying. and she'll take it as if it's real. And sometimes she knows it's not real, and sometimes she takes the things as being real. And I guess they both, she just kind of some days she's in denial of how serious it is. But and my mom has, because there's even been moments where my mom is like, family members have come to visit, and they, my mom tells them like, look at my head, like, look, touch my head, feel my head. It ain't nothing wrong with my head, like, like she thinks that the cancer is gone when it's not gone. I mean, it's like, because like I said, I mean, it's nothing else they could do. There's no more treatment. There's no more nothing, and sometimes my grandmother still has hope that, my mom's gonna get out of there and this and that, but like I said, lately, I think she's been kind of realizing it more, because she's been depressed, and you say not wanting to get out of bed, and like, Grandma, you got to get up and get out of bed. You 101. You lay in the bed, and you're going to get stiff, and you're going to be, in a tough situation. Yeah. So it's just been a hell of an ordeal. And I guess the toughest part is that, most people in this situation, they deal with one parent at a time. It's like, I'm basically dealing with my mom and my grandma both at the same time. Yeah. And so, it just makes it really tough.
So the place that your grandmother's at, that's cool. She's a cool facility.
The place where my grandma's at is a cool place. She likes it. They, they got good food. Everybody treat her nice. My grandmother's the oldest person there, obviously, at almost 102. And the other good thing is that comedian Jabber Gold, my homeboy I grew up with in Omaha, his wife works there part-time.
Oh, that's so she can keep eyes.
She's always got people. And my grandmother, she gets a lot of visitors. I mean, she got people from her church that she used to go to church with to stop by and see her, and so she gets a lot of visitors. That's another thing. It's just like, this is the first time that I've spent in my life this much time in facilities, hospitals. I mean, for the last 3 months, I've been in hospitals, nursing homes, and hospice care places. And it's tough seeing, like where my grandma's at, like, say, for an example, every day when I would be there and I'd come in, I could see the other elderly people sitting there like, boy, I wish somebody would visit me. Yeah. And then there was a brother that works there. He was one of the cooks, and he told me, he said, hey, man, I really commend you on how you come back and forth and make sure your folks taken care of. He said, man, because he said, I know some of these people that's in here. He said, I know I see they people on the street, they kids, grandkids, whatever. Yeah. And he said, I've been working here for 10 years. Some of these people ain't never got a visit.
Yeah,
and he said, I be seeing they folks on the street, and he said, I can't make nobody come up here, but he said, I tell them like, yo, man, why don't you come check on your folks?
Yeah,
you leave them up there, don't even come see him. You right here in town.
I remember for a short time, my grandmother was this is a couple years before she passed away. She had left her apartment and she went to a nursing home, but she was on a list to get another apartment. So I remember I went to the nursing home, and I was just like, no, we getting you up out of here. You know what I mean? Like, nah.
But unfortunately, like, the place like where my grandma's at, because like I said, she's in the assisted living, so she's basically, I mean, they there to help, but she still is able to maintain on her own. So she's not in a actual home, and it's good there, and so it's people she could talk to and everything, as opposed to just being in a place all by herself. Especially now with my mom not being around her, she wouldn't have been able to take that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just the ups and downs of all of this, and having to just change tickets. I mean, it's been just so many scenarios, like almost on a daily basis. But and to endure, the verbal abuse, like, it's gotten to the point where I just laugh. I'm just like, man, this shit is really crazy. It's like that this is happening. It's like, I'm hoping that, I don't know how, from the way it seems like, she might not never have a moment where, she's able to say a final goodbye or anything like that or whatever. And we don't know. I mean, like I said, they said 3 to 6 months, like 2 months ago, but it could be longer. I've heard situations where people live a couple years after they say something like that. So you just never know. So keep hope alive in that way. But this has been a heck of an ordeal.
Yeah, and have you been doing shows? I don't think you really
been doing I'm doing one tomorrow. Be the first one I did in about a month and a half.
Wow.
And there was opportunities. Like, I mean, there was stuff I probably could have put together something in Omaha or Lincoln or surrounding areas.
I know you was going to go to Fresno, but you said no.
Yeah, right? I couldn't. But it's like people. I know people that own clubs. They like, you want to do a show? It's like, no, I can't do no show in Omaha or the area because there's no way I can go from dealing with them to just trying to be fun. I mean, like, it's too much. Yeah. It's impossible.
Facts.
Like, for that, in that area. Now, that's one thing, like, that's in Omaha and I could do a show somewhere else. Yeah, I can get, I could do it, but I couldn't do one in Omaha right now with all that, with all of that going on right there in the town.
So you got your first show in a month and a half tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, I hope everything got to be all right with Grandma because they just found one person with COVID. This is just today.
Oh, yeah.
One person with COVID in her facility because...
did they lock it down? Because I know my father's in like a assisted living. Was this before? No, this ain't the spot where he was at somewhere, a veterans. And I remember they locked it down. This is maybe
they haven't
4 months ago.
But I don't know what their number is. If they get to a certain number, they'll lock it down. And I'm like, oh man, that would just because my grandmother, that would really do her in if nobody could come see her or whatever or nothing.
It's one thing. It's like you're dealing with that. You're still in the pandemic. And
then it's like the facility that my grandma's at and the facility where my mom is at, they're owned by the same person.
Okay.
They're sister facilities. So, they're testing everybody at the home also. I mean, so there's a chance that if COVID spreads through there, they could all get locked down and I couldn't even go there to see him.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully.
Yeah, and the other reason why I wanted to tell people this story because also one of the biggest reasons is that there's a lot of people out there that for some reason or not, depending on what happened in their life, they're not taught, they don't speak to their mom or their dad.
Yeah.
And to all those people, take it from somebody who never knew his father, a day in his life, have no idea. And this Father's Day is coming up. And every Father's Day is the worst day. That's probably why when you said, what's the best thing? Because I'm not able to enjoy Father's Day. Even though I got kids and I love my kids and I know they love me, Father's Day, if it wasn't for my kids, I would just lay in the bed every Father's Day. It's just depressing to me. Some people might, has something happen in their life. It might be Christmas, whatever. But every Father's Day, because every year that passes, I know that that's a year closer to me just never knowing my father. And it's fucked up because I've told this story before. It's like, I know I have sisters and brothers, nieces and nephews. I can feel them, Jamal. I know they out there. And I know that if we knew each other, we would be cool. I can feel my family. So... like I said to the people, if no matter who's right, who's wrong, if your parents did you wrong, mom and dad did you wrong, trust me on this. You want to be the bigger person, or if you did them wrong, then you need to go apologize to them. Whoever was in the wrong, it don't matter who was in the wrong.
Right.
Rectify these situations because I'm glad that me and my mom, we were talking and communicating for years before it got to this level because at least now I know, I don't have to have that fucked up feeling. Because just say, for instance, I still wasn't communicating with her.
Yeah.
Then I probably wouldn't be so concerned about going to check on her and being there and being in Omaha for 3 weeks at a time, 2 weeks at a time, missing shows, going through all these scenarios. I probably wouldn't have done all that.
Right.
But now I'm glad that, we were able to talk and like I said, it's Father's Day. So if it's a relationship with your dad, this Father's Day, no matter what, no matter if you know he was in the wrong, call him and rectify it.
Yeah.
Be the bigger person.
Yeah.
Or if it's with your mom, call her and rectify it. Be the bigger person.
Right.
Because you don't want something, you don't want one of your parents to be in my mother's condition and y'all didn't have a relationship. Because a lot of times it be over some shit that really wasn't even a big deal.
Yep.
In most cases.
In most cases.
It'd be about some shit that really wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
And people go years without speaking.
Yeah.
And I know from firsthand experience of not speaking to my mom for years, and it really wasn't even no big deal.
Facts. So when are you going back? What's the next step?
Well, I was just hoping. I was figuring to go back like the beginning of July, hopefully. Cause see, it's tough now. It's like I said, having to the summer costs, the airline tickets are higher, hotels, all that's higher, and then in Omaha, this is the busiest part of the summer. Every year, I don't know if you remember, we are the home of the College World Series.
That's right. In
Omaha. So it starts the 17th of June to the 27th. So hopefully everybody's okay within those days, and I don't have to go back during that time because that's when they really getting their bread.
Yeah.
Hotel that might have been $75, it's $225. They getting that bread, and every year that's their biggest, money making thing. One of them in Omaha.
Yeah, these plane tickets are crazy.
So hopefully everybody can hold on till after till like the beginning of like maybe July 5th or 6th after the 4th and all that type of those high ass costs and everything.
Yeah. All right, yeah, absolutely, man. Well, we our prayers are with you. Our prayers are with your family. You know that. If you guys listening, please DM Tobe. Send him prayers. Send him love, man. If you definitely you follow him on Instagram or Twitter, or just we got a phone number you can call also too.
818-335-2065. 818-335-2065.
Definitely, man. Heavy stuff. But
and
it's
we gonna get back to our weekly schedule. Even if I had to do it on Zoom or whatever, we're gonna get back to the weekly schedule. So make sure tell a friend. And hopefully this is the last time. Well, it won't be like, but hopefully this is the last full episode on something that might make you sad. Hopefully. So
yeah, but y'all know we keep it real on here, man. We're about life. We're about life, man. It's not. It's everybody has to deal with life, man. Everybody has to deal with family. You know what I mean? And just hopefully you guys learn something from today. And like Tobe said, man, if you're out there and you're estranged from a family member, a loved one, nix that, man. Fix that, man. I remember I had a homie, him and his daughter. I think she wrote him like a nasty letter a couple years ago, like fuck you, and I don't want to speak to you. And it was just nasty. And I know they didn't speak for a while, but just recently I noticed they, because I did.
How old was she when she wrote the letter?
She was like 20, 21. Yeah.
Oh, she was a grown woman.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 20, 21. I think it was just. I think the mom put a lot of bullshit in her head. But now recently they everything is good, man. I've seen them together, so it works like that. And she a little older now. Maybe she understands more. It was what her mom put in her head towards her father. So it is.
Yeah. See, I mean, because that's the thing. Because growing up, I was mad at my father, and I didn't realize that anger shouldn't be towards him until I was a grown man and started dealing with women on my own. And then I realized, okay. And then, in my case, it's about a 90% chance my father doesn't even know I'm alive. So it ain't like he just disregarded me. So
yeah. Absolutely, man. If you're listening, man, follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Go to also on iTunes, man. Leave a review on iTunes. Go to iTunes, leave a review. Take a screenshot of that review. DM us that on our Instagram and Twitter, and we got some prizes, man. We'll send you a T-shirt and some good stuff, man.
And happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there.
Absolutely.
And ladies, just say Happy Father's Day. Let's not do that old I'm the mama and the father.
Yeah, stop that.
Don't do that this Father's Day.
Yeah, stop
even if father, if he ain't the best man in the world, just don't do that shit.
Yeah. That's
even though some of y'all doing the work of a mother and a father, we understand, but don't do that this Father's Day, please.
And ladies, stop giving the same pussy every Father's Day to your man. Listen, he get that every time. Do something special. Do something different this time.
Yeah, like bring your girlfriend riding down the freeway.
Yeah, bring your girlfriend in for a threesome. That's a Father's Day gift right there.
Yeah.
Like, don't give him the same coochie that he get. He be like, man, I get that on March 13th. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, definitely take him out and don't just give him socks, man. Give him something fly. We love you guys, man. Thanks for listening. Toby, you got anything coming up? You got the show tomorrow. That's it.
Yeah, that's it right now.
Do I got anything coming up? June 25th, we're back in Inglewood. I'm starting my room back up in Inglewood. June 25th, we got Scrunch Show headlining. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and I promote all the shows on there. On June 20. Hold on.
Scrunch Show. I remember when he met my grandmother. That was wild. Yeah, he was tripping off of meeting my grandma.
And then the next day, June 26th, I'm in Pasadena. So if you follow me on Instagram, Twitter, I got all the flyers and stuff on there, man. So definitely, man. Shout out to everybody at Comedy Pop-Up, man. Paul, our engineer, man. We love you guys, man. Toby, you want to send it out, man.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to you, Toby.
Yes. Yeah. Yes, thank you. You too. And
this will be my third Father's Day. Yeah.
Hey, and if you don't know who your dad is, it might be time to go ahead and let's spend $100. I'm gonna go ahead and spend $100 with the ancestry and see what we can come up with. How about that? All right, y'all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dope
we out,
Dealers
man.
Podcast.
Dope Dealers. We out. Love you guys, man.